Hello, hello, good evening, good evening. It is almost 10 o'clock. I am a little tardy for the party. I'm at work, so y'all have to forgive me. Um, but today I'm going to talk from a place of love. It's actually called the love effect, the weight of love, or the power of our words when using love, and then giving people power in that regard. And then, of course, I ramble. So we'll get to some rambling here. I would give people an opportunity to come in the room, but I don't like to waste time. So I'm going to get this thing started. Today, I had four separate conversations with this conversation around all the stuff that's going on in social media. And I kind of already spoke on that, so it's not like I'm going to go into detail. But I am going to jerk a sentiment out of something that is circling in that conversation with the Red Table Talk. And it was at the very beginning when she said, "It's all love," which is why the topic is the love effect and the weight of our words. Okay, so many of us know there are several types of love. And the reason why I want to talk about the love effect is because the power of the words that we use and the weight that they hold when we're sharing them or exchanging them with other people can do a disservice. Saying things like "it's all love" is not an accurate statement if you're not leading from a place of love. Now, people say, well, love is subjective. Absolutely it is, but it isn't. There is probably four popular types of love, but there are technically seven. And so the four that we could talk about are storage love, which is an empathy bond or love of the child. Philia, which is a friend bond. Eros, which a lot of us go through this one, a romantic love. And agape, which is termed an unconditional God love. But there's also ludus, which is a playful love, pragma, a long-lasting love, and philatia, which is a love of the self. And I think that's where we need to break down the love effect. I think the sentiment, "it's all love," has a lot of layers that may need unpacking. And of course, everybody has their opinion. We can't talk about X, Y, and Z because that doesn't pertain to us. But I was just telling a friend today via text message, I said, I think that you should always be able to speak the truth in love on any topic. And so that's where this conversation will go. So there are a couple of things that I want to point out about love and using love as a way to have a conversation with people, by engaging them, by being in a story or a conversation with someone that you claim to love. There are some tidbits that you have to keep in mind. It is of the essence to always speak the truth in love, even if it doesn't feel good, even if it's not the most favorite or popular thing to do, because you owe it to that person, you owe it to yourself to engage in a conversation where they can then decide how to deal with what's being exposed, what's being shared, what's being acknowledged, what's being presented. And if you claim to love somebody, why wouldn't you speak the truth to them in that love, in the light of that love? Another thing to understand about love is that love covers a multitude of sin. And so love has the ability to heal things, choices we have to make in that. But those are decisions. Everything is decision. Even around love, you choose to love. You choose to be love. You choose to show love. You choose to give love. You choose to respond in and out of your love. But the one that always makes me bubble up on the inside, makes me really happy, puts a little oomph in my spirit, is that perfect love casteth out fear. So if you are leading from a place of love, you aren't you can't coexist with fear, can't coexist with that. Love takes takes the center stage. It leads, it performs, it shows up in a place where fear can't. It can't. Fear has no place where love resides. And if you are a friend, if you are in a relationship, if you are a family member, whatever it is, if you're leading from a place of love, you need to lead that way consistently and regularly. And that should show up in how you present. That should show up in how you commentate. That should show up in how you act. I mean, it should just cover all of those different things. So no one should have to question, is this person really, do they really love me? Are they just using these pretty flowery words, or are they actually showing me love? Are they showing me love? Because that's what's important. Now, I know in 2020, everybody's not looking for love. And a lot of us are looking for love in all the wrong places. And so I'm not talking to you per se, although this could be a beneficial conversation for you as well. But I want to stress why it's so important to not use words that you don't mean. If you don't love someone, then don't use the word. If you don't love yourself, then don't lead with that sentiment. If you still have healing to do, then you need to fix that. You need to heal. You need to get the help that you need before you entangle yourself. Yes, I did use that word. Entangle yourself in a situation, in a relationship, in another person who is expecting you or accepting you to show up as a healed, whole person. I think we create so much dysfunction in trying to get over another person by getting under another person. That's not love. So you can't even lead with the sentiment, it's all love. Well, is it? Because it sounds like brokenness to me. It sounds like hurt to me. It sounds like lust to me. It sounds like the flesh won to me. Now, I know these are heavy conversations and we don't want to face them, because I've had to have these conversations today when I told two of my really good friends and they were like, well, I don't see it. I was like, that's predatorial behavior. I was like, it's predatorial behavior because you are the stronger of the two people involved in this situation and you preyed on that weakness of someone else. So yes, it is predatory behavior. You dressed yourself up as a safe space, but you weren't checking your own problems, healing from what hurt you. And now you done bled all over this young person, bled over this individual who didn't cut you, who didn't hurt you, who was already hurt, who was already sick, who was already broken, who you tried to seek healing and help for, instead of pausing and also seeking healing and help for yourself, and then coming around to the table of understanding and being audacious enough to say that this is from a place of love. It's all love. That's not love. That's not what love is. That's not what love does. That's not how love behaves. That's not what love considers when taking into account someone else's isms or someone else's hurts or someone else's pain or even someone else's sickness. Love does not operate or behave in that manner. And so we have to get back to the love effect of what love really is. Now, some of y'all are like, here she go. I lead from a place of biblical understanding and practice. And so to me, love is always going to be the same thing. It comes from 1 Corinthians 13, that love is patient, love is kind, love does not keep record of wrongs, love is not selfish, love does not boast. All of that to me is what love is. And if I can't put myself in the name of love, Shannon is patient, Shannon is kind, Shannon does not keep record of wrongs, Shannon does not boast, Shannon is not out for selfish gain, all those sentiments, then I need to go back to the table, the drawing board, and reevaluate some things. Because then I can't dare tell someone that it's all love or this is from a place of love, because clearly it's not. It's probably from a place of ego. It's probably from a place of pride. It's probably from a place of ignorance. It's probably from a place of unchecked behavior. It might be from a place of hidden benefits. It might be a place from unhealed trauma. It might be from a place of bad, bitter, broken attitudes. It might be from a lot of different places, but it's not from love. And we have gotten comfortable and complacent with calling things that they're really not. Calling situations love, calling people friends, calling things relationships when they're anything but, when it's not love, when they're not friends, when you're not in a relationship. And so we have to be willing to get back to that conversation, not be afraid to call spades spades, which sometimes means checking ourselves and saying, I am not who I say I am. I am not showing up as love. Right now, I'm showing up as hurt. Right now, I'm showing up as confused. Right now, I'm showing up as broken. Right now, I'm showing up as bitter. Right now, I'm showing up as jaded. Right now, I'm showing up as frustrated. Right now, I'm showing up and I'm taking advantage of the situation because I'm not honest about how I'm showing up. If you cause the confusion, you cannot blame the confused. If you cause the confusion, you cannot blame the confused. You have got to get inside of yourself, unpack the ish that you have, and deal with it. We have been talking about healing ourselves whole and loving without delay and leading from a place of love and showing up as yourself. But if you're going to show up as yourself, remember that self needs to be authentic, and that self needs to be transparent, and that self needs to be healed and whole. Because there's somebody out there who is broken, who wants to see somebody who has been broken, who's done the work, who's walked that pathway that has said, love is patient, even when I'm not. Love is kind, even when I'm not. And that healing allowed me to see love be patient and love be kind come to fruition, love putting itself on my feet so I could walk that thing out called love. Because love isn't just a word we use. It's not a filler word. It's not a fluff word. Now, we use it like that, but that's not what it is. Just like we use friends, just like we use relationships. We use words too loosely, but they carry so much weight. And so I may say, I love you, and you done already planned our whole entire wedding. We done already got 2.5 kids, a dog, and a taco on a counter waiting for us to live happily ever after. We friends. So now when I make it big, you done inherited all of my fame, my fortune, and yada. We need to stop making people feel like this is what it is if it ain't. We need to stop making people then feel like they're crazy or they're simple or they got something wrong with them because we've led them to believe that this is what it is. And it ain't. It is okay to tell people I am broken right now. It is okay to tell people that I am in a place of my own reckoning because I've made some decisions in my life, that I've made some choices in my life, that I've chosen to act, to perform, to show up in manners that were not healthy for myself, that were not good for myself, that did not serve me any purpose. And now I am dealing with the stain of, the guilt of, the frustration of, the marination of. Because even when we make these decisions, We have to sometimes sit in the consequence. We have to sometimes sit in the disdain of. Does not mean you shame yourself. It does not mean that you hang yourself up to dry. Audrey, I'll call you back, friend. But it means you have to sit in yourself. It means you have to have these conversations about, what did I do? Was I a part of the problem, or was I a part of the solution? And if you're a part of the problem, which most of us are, if you look at your situation, most of us are a part of the problem. We have to unpack why we're a part of the problem. And then we have to address those issues. Don't hold yourself hostage to what you did wrong. Learn from it. It's only a loss when you don't learn from it. If you learn from it, it becomes a lesson. And when you have a lesson under your belt, you can lead from a place of love. You can lead from a place of wholeness. You can lead from a place of forgiveness. You can lead sincerely from a place of understanding. And then you won't prey on people. You won't bleed on people. You won't manipulate people. You won't intentionally hurt people, because we're human. So we are going to hurt people. But that will not be your intention if you're leading from a place of love. That won't be your desire to see the person that you claim to love, regardless of what that relationship is. That won't be your intention to hurt them. Your intention won't be to tell them a lie. Your intention won't be to let them be doing their process of healing and wholeness and therapy as you try to get them help from a sickness when you're broken. And instead of taking time apart to deal with whatever issue you have as a logical next step, you decide to then lead from a place of lust, or your flesh, or your ego, or your pride, and you bleed all over that person that you claim to help, to want to see healed, and then call it love. This is bigger than those two people on a red table. We do this in relationships, and then have the audacity to call them relationships. I said probably 7 lives ago, we are in different types of ships. Relationships, kinships, friendships, sinking ships, burning ships. Some of y'all are on the Titanic in your ships. And that thing is going down, and you are too afraid to abort mission, to jump overboard, to save face. For who? At what risk, what cost are you willing to pay? Because one of y'all gonna drown. One of y'all are bound to drown. Y'all both are not going to make it. Somebody is going under. And you have to be willing, if you can't help yourself, at least help the other person and walk away. Because you know you are not healed. You know you are not whole. And we got to go back to the basics. We got to stop excusing our flesh. We have to stop excusing our ego. We have to stop excusing our unchecked trauma. Because at some point in your life, you have to take ownership and responsibility and be accountable for the things that hurt you. And I've said this before, you can't check necessarily the person who hurt you, but you can check what hurt you long enough to heal you, so that you can go to and get to and even be with someone who also has done the work, or is already just a healed whole person. Everybody don't have trauma of that magnitude. Everybody isn't dealing with something in the way that you might be dealing with. And for those who, I love so-and-so's transparency. I love so-and-so's willingness to be honest. I love that, you don't even have to tell people this. This is your business. We have always lived in a society where people would rather keep their sin or the stain of their problems or the weight of their errors to themselves, as if they're the only one going through it. Things don't just happen to you for you. I feel like I'm repeating myself. I've said this before. Things do not happen to you for you, just for you. They happen to you, for other people. We are all we're either on our way in a storm, or coming out of a storm. And so your situation might be what someone else needs because they're going to go through that. Their situation and how they got out of it might be what you need because you're getting ready to go through that. But if we don't start talking about the things that plague us, the things that draw us out of ourselves, our shell, our pain, our shadows, then there's going to be a lot of people just continually cutting on each other and bleeding on each other and not healing. Because brokenness is trending. Brokenness is cute. Entanglements are cute. Affairs are cute. Pride and ego are cute. Those are lies that we believe to make our flesh situations okay. Now, I know I've been a hypocrite. I have done it before. So I'm not telling you anything I heard, read in a book, telling you what I know. I'm telling you a life I've lived. But there's a D on the end. I don't live that life anymore. You have to make a decision to live a life of lies or live a life led by love. Because when you live a life led by love, you want to walk in the truth of that. You want to walk in the freedom of that. Love is not shackles and imprisonment. Love is freeing. Love doesn't allow you to feel like you have to perform. You have to show up as anything other than yourself. Authentic, transparent. Love even allows you to show up broken. But love in its purest form is not going to cut you up and bleed all over you knowing that you're broken. Love is going to give you room to heal. Maybe walk that journey with you. Send you to a therapist if you need it. Direct you back to Jesus because he is the answer. But love is not going to take advantage of that dysfunction. Love doesn't show up like that. And so to ordinary people, to society who believes that that is what love is and that is what love does, reevaluate that. Because you yourself would not be comfortable with someone coming to you and saying it's just love or it's all love. But is it? Is that the excuse you give when you step outside of your marriage? Is that the excuse you give when your uncle molests your child? Is that the excuse you give when your children find out that grandpa is not just grandpa, grandpa is dad? Is that the excuse you give? Because we tend to excuse a lot of things by saying, oh, we're not going to discuss this. Oh, this, that, or the other. Call a spade. But once you call it what it is, once you can name the dysfunction, find the recourse to heal from it. Find the necessary pathway to remove yourself from things that don't serve you. Find the courage to disengage people who are not in your corner, rowing in the direction you desire to go. Because that's not love. People will rock with you out of spite. People will rock with you out of hate and jealousy. People will rock with you because you're growing and they're busted. They're hurt. They're broken. Have you ever broken a glass and you have attempted to pick it up and not sweep it up, but pick it up? 9 times out of 10, you're going to cut yourself. We do a lot of that when we deal with broken people. We do a lot of that when we are the broken people. And it's a disservice. It's not fair. It's not appropriate. And no, we may not be predators, but we should be giving more than what we are giving when we come to the table and we're not completely healed, when we're not completely whole, when we still have some unchecked baggage from a marriage that didn't work out, from a relationship that had broken and empty promises, from our own misplaced expectations, from our own willingness to break our own hearts, because sometimes we set ourselves up for failure and nobody else did it but us. And we've got to be willing to say, that is not love. That is not what love does. And that is not who love is. And so if I'm going to go forth in love, what do I need to strip away? Is it my ego? Is it my pride? Is it my own ignorance? Is it my flesh? Is it my lust for, with my eyes, with my body? Is it the pride of life that I have that I need to strip bare? Do I need to strip away these conceived notions of fringe benefits? Is it my attitude? Because there's something in us that will hinder us from truly being love and leading from a place of love if we're hurting people from an intention that is not appropriate for that relationship. Now, if you want to be in sinking ships and burning ships, continue to leave from those jacked up places. Because that's exactly what you're going to have on your hands. You're going to have a sinking ship. You're going to have a burning ship. And like I said, some of us have been playing the violin for a very long time on the Titanic, watching this ship go down. Some of us need permission to jump overboard. Some of us need permission to stop chasing other people's visions, stop leading from places where other people are on pedestals. If you put somebody in a place that is higher than they should be, take them down. Find out why you did it. Find out where the insecurity or the self-vision or the self-worth or lack thereof lies and tap into that. Address that. Heal that. Have honest conversations about what plagues you, what pains you, what problems you have. Find safe spaces to talk about and to become and to be and to do so that other people can feel freely to do the same. That's what a real relationship looks like, regardless if it's romantic, platonic, or otherwise. If we are going to do relationships together, if we are going to build on this thing called love, we have to understand the capacity of love. We have to understand the effect of love. We have to understand the weight of love. And people will prey on your brokenness. People will prey on your vulnerabilities, especially if they too are broken. Especially if they too are hurting. The best thing you can do when you show up in a relationship, the best accessory you can wear, the best garment that you can put on is healing. It is not appropriate to get under somebody else trying to get over someone else. We have got to unwrite that. We have got to unlearn that. We have got to be friends and loved ones and accountability partners who check that. Because we too busy telling people, oh, that's cute. But did he lay the pipe though? Sis, you know you're not healed. Why you do that? For a temporary fix? You still bleeding out all over everyone else because he can lay the pipe? We gotta do better. We gotta want better for ourselves. And I know these are choices, and I know we all have to make them. But continue walking down the path of destruction, and you will find yourselves sinking. Or take the road less traveled, down healing, redemption, restoration, And you will truly find the art of love, the effect it has, the weight it has, the healing, restorative powers that it possesses. You will find that the truth comes easier, and that you don't want to return back to a place of complacency, or you don't want to return back to a place of lies and deceit and corruption. Because we cover a lot of things when we're not leading from that truth, when we're not leading from that place of love. We excuse a lot of bad behavior for temporary fixes. We become enslaved to those things. And so it becomes okay. So when we see other people doing it, we don't see it being wrong because we haven't figured out how to get out of it for ourselves. You owe it to yourself to get wrapped around that concept of love being patient and love being kind and love not leading from a place that's self-seeking or self-serving. And when someone tells you it's all love, test the theory. Test the person. Pull out a pen and a paper. Take note. Oh, they went and got me some services. They were leading from a place of goodness. And then what? What happened? Because you have to tell the whole story if you're going to tell it. You have to understand the journey that you're walking down to know whether it's destruction or it's actually based and bared in good fruit. And sometimes we see things that look good but aren't good for us. We see things. A lot of us lead with our eyes. How else will you know if you like it? And then we have to try it. Because how else will you know if you like it? We have to be strong enough and honest enough to be observant, to be cautionary, to be intentional, and to be honest about who we are and where we are. So that when we engage other people, we are bringing good fruit into their life. We are restoring. We are reminding them that there is hope for relationships. That you actually do mean me some earthly good. That you want to help grow me, build me up, see me evolve to the most excellent version of myself. Because that is love. Find love. Acknowledge that it actually exists and you are worthy of it. Anything less than true, authentic, patient, kind, gentle, persevering, never failing love is a farce. And at best is lust. At worst is a lie. At least I know if you're lusting after me, at least I know that's your truth. But if you are filling me with a whole bunch of maggots and calling it something else, you are lying to yourself, and I am believing the lies you've told. And therefore, I'm also not in a place to love myself because I'm comfortable with the garbage you're spewing to me. That's not okay. We've got to do better. We've got to be willing to express who we are and be truthful about that thing, but do it from a place of love. Anything else is a disservice. And you don't owe that to anybody. Disservices are beneath you. That's peasantry. We are royal people, so we don't operate from peasantry. So yeah, I will leave you with this quote by Harold W. Becker, because it speaks to healing and restoration and love. Tending the garden of your heart ensures your love will blossom. That's rich. Tending the garden of your heart will ensure your love will blossom. So what are you doing to tend the garden of your heart? Are you being bold enough to do your light work, to heal yourself whole, to check your unchecked baggage, to unpack your childhood or adult trauma, heal from a relationship, sit down somewhere and unpack a divorce that you don't think you were a part of the problem? Those are things that you do to tend to the garden of your heart. Do your checks and balances. And after you've done that work, fill it back up with love. Because there's somebody out there waiting for you to pour that love into them. If I leave you with nothing else, do the work, be the light, and love without delay. I love each and every one of you. Thank you for stopping by my live. I'm going to go back to work now. I will be back next Sunday. I don't know what I'm talking about, as always. I'll just make something up and ramble like normal. But we're going to get back to dismantling daddy dysfunctions, even though this is a part of it. Checking yourself and then leading from love. This is a part of it. But that's all I have for tonight. Thanks for rocking with me. I really do appreciate each and every one of you. Have a great night. Do something to make yourself smile. And don't forget to love without delay. Have a good one, guys. Bye.